Hey, what's going on YouTube land? It's your boy TJ and welcome to my YouTube channel, Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my reviews on the WWE shows and PLE events. And today we are going to be reviewing NXT March 12th, 2024. So let's go ahead get into it. So we open up NXT with a tag team match. It is OTM versus LWO. Before the match even begins, right? OTM end up hitting LWO from the back, and they, attacked them, trying to get the jump on them, get the unfair advantage. They had a pretty standard back and forth match, a lot of high-flying, death-defying moves. To end this match, one of the members of LWO wound up doing a Hurricane Rana off of the top rope. Then he tags in his partner, and he hits a 450 splash, 1, 2, 3. They are going to move on into, I guess, a tag team championship match against Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, who are the reigning tag team NXT champions. So I guess earlier in the day, Oba had an interview. They asked him how did he feel about the match against Brooke. So he says that I'm overly confident in tonight. After I defeat Brooke, then I'm going on to stand and deliver. So this is when Brooke comes out of nowhere and says, oh, say that to my face, say that to my face. So they get into a shoving match. This is when his brother Briggs comes out and says, what are you doing? Like, you have a championship match coming up. Like, what are you doing trying to anger this man? So then this is when Oba said, you better listen to your brother because I'm going to show you better I could tell you tonight. So I'm like, oh, you got this man hot and bothered. You better leave him alone. Bow. Oba ain't playing that, baby. We finna see what Oba gonna have in store for Brooke. So, you better lay low.
You better lay low.
So in this next segment, it is Roxan Perez. So basically, I'm going to wrap up everything that she said. Basically, attack Lara Carrier, the reigning NXT Women's Champions, because she never approached her about a rematch because of Tatum and Lola's interference. So she basically took things into her own hands, and she ended up attacking Lara to put her on notice. She also continues and say this is actually poetic because last year, a year ago, she wound up being put in the ambulance and being sent away. And now this year, it's the same fate for you. So to repeat the same thing that happened last year, she needs to get stripped of her women's championship since she is injured, which we still have not been confirmed whether she's out of action or not. So I'm guessing Lara is still the NXT Women's Champion. But Ava comes out because Roxanne called Ava out to award her with the championship, which I wouldn't think she would do anyway. It would more likely be a tournament, but hey. So she comes out and Ava says you had some nerve doing what you did. Like, you're really proud of yourself. So this is when Roxanne says, look, can we just cut to the part where you give me the championship already? So this is when Ava said that even though I was not the GM at the time, from my understanding, after they took a good look at you, they decided to take the championship away from you because it was what was best for you due to your injuries. So this is when Tatum comes out and wanted to attack Roxanne for Lara, and it doesn't work. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Mickie James, can you stay in the back, please? Nobody called for you. But hey, I guess she's sticking up for a friend. So in the midst of all of this happening, they're going to have a match next week, and we're going to see how that plays out. In this next match, it was Lexis King versus Mrs. Stone. It was kind of a one-sided match where Lexis was kind of beating on Mr. Stone. Mind you, he's more so of a manager, not a wrestler. But he put up a pretty good fight. Nonetheless, Lexis King winds up hitting his correlation, 1, 2, 3, and he wins the match. So after the match, Lexis King wind up trying to assault him some more, but Von Wagner came out to save him and pulls Mr. Stone out the ring, and he looks like a baby in his hand. I was like, because this man is like 6'7" or 6'6", so he towers over like majority of the NXT roster, and that's not even including the WWE. In this next segment, it is an interview with Oba, and basically he said what you seen earlier with Brooke is a little boy cosplaying and grown man's clothing, and tonight he's in the jungle and he's about to get slaughtered. So then this is when Dijak comes out and he says, I'm not impressed. When you're ready to fight some real competition, just go ahead and let me know. And I'm like, oh, okay. You better lay low.
You better lay low.
Look, Dijak, you may kind of meet eye level to Obal, but trust and believe, you ain't ready for that smoke. So now it is Obal versus Brooke. And they had a really, really good back and forth match, honestly. This was probably one of the best matches of the night, to me, in my opinion. I didn't expect Brooke to put up such of a fight against Obal, being as though this man towers over him. So they had a really good back and forth match. But of course, Obal is the more dominant and menacing competitor between the two of them. Brooke's brother winds up coming out to, I guess, for more support on the behalf of Brooke. But nonetheless, he winds up getting beat down and he tosses him around the ring like 3-4 times. So he hits the 2 power bombs, 1, 2, 3. The match is over. And Briggs has no choice but to just go ahead and just watch it all. And still remains your NXT North American Champion, Obal. So, can I ask y'all a question? Did y'all really thought Brooks was going to win this match? Just a question. In this next match, it is Gigi Dolan versus Ariana Grace. This match was relatively short. They had a pretty standard back and forth match. But to end this match, Ariana, while the referee was turned around, she low blows Gigi. And I'm like, what are y'all hitting down there? What is going on? So she low blows her. And then she said, I'm doing this for you. So she ends up low blowing her back, but the referee sees this. So it is a disqualification. And Grace wins this match by DQ. So, y'all, that really, you know what? I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match. In this next segment, it is brought to Thea Hill's attention that Kehlani got attacked from the back, and she is going to be seemingly without a partner. She is not, actually, because Fallon ends up coming in to try to save the day, and she is Thea's partner in this tag team match with Izzy Dame and Kiana James. This is a pretty standard back and forth match. This is when I believe her name is Jasmine and JCJ ends up coming out and supports Thea Hill and Fallon. Yeah, right. At the end of the match, Izzy ends up hitting Thea, but she was aiming originally for Fallon, but JC ends up pulling Fallon out the way so Thea can take the blow. So she throws her right back in the ring. Then Kiana James ends up hitting her finisher, the bankrupt, and 1, 2, 3, they win the match. Thea Hill gets a microphone and she is livid at JC for betraying her. And she said that she thought this was her sister, that was her friend. But she said, you know what? No more. I'm reverting back to the old me and forget you. So we're going to see what that entails and moving on to the next segment. In this next match, it is actually the last match. Ridge Holland versus Shawn Spears. They had a pretty standard back and forth match. The story with this match was, could Ridge Holland go all the way on the dark side? And he teased it a little bit. He even put him through the table. He even teased hitting a steel chair onto Shawn Spears' head. But the referee grabs the chair and moves it onto the corner of the ring for whatever reason. He winds up hitting his Z4, 1, 2, 3. He wins the match. So I guess we're going to see where these two guys' rivalry ends up. If it was left up to me, I would guess they would have a no DQ match or something like that, or no DQ stipulations at some point down the line. In the main event, Trick is back. I wore these glasses just for that. That rhymed too. So Trick is back, and he's basically airing out his grievances about the whole situation with him and Mello and how Mello betrayed him. He asked him why. At Stand and Deliver, he lays out a challenge against Mello, and he wants to go ahead and nip this in the bud. Also, before that, he actually was saying how like other people from the back was saying that Melo was really jealous of him. He really wasn't happy. And Trick even asked Melo months ago, was it Melo that attacked Trick that night? And he said no. And he said, you've been lying to me for a long time. But he said, you told the truth about a month ago, saying that Melo and Trick aren't on the same level. So Trick agrees, and he says that even if you had a stepping stool, you still wouldn't be on my level. So he basically made fun of his height. So this is when Metaphor comes out. And basically Dar wants to steal some of Trick's thunder and hype because right now he's the hottest NXT superstar, which is correct. So this is when Trick says, well, judging on the way that Lash Legend is looking at me, I think everybody here agrees. This is when Lash Legend says, oh, you need to be paying attention to what Dar got to say to you because, yeah. This is when Dar says, I can't think of a better way than knocking you out to steal your hype and all this other stuff. So this is when Trick winds up wiping the floor with both the male members of Metaphor. So then Lash Legend winds up trying to attack him, but he ends up grabbing her arm and then like he just tilts her back and then he winds up getting a kiss from her. Well, she actually kissed him. But he ends up finishing the job with the rest of Metaphor. The females members of Metaphor, well, one of them is like still smitten and hot over the kiss. So he winds up finishing, wiping up the floor with Metaphor, the male members, and they wind up getting out of the ring. So she's still all like having that kiss from Trick, and we end the night with Trick on top. So I'm guessing what's next for Trick is going to be a match against Dar next week. And I actually do want to see what's going to happen between these two. So that ended that segment. Let me know, comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. What did you think of this week's NXT? And peace, I'm out.